What's up, guys? Garrett here from Code the Web, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a little bit different. It's probably not going to be the greatest of quality even, as you can probably already tell from the sound of my voice. I'm not using my external microphone. I'm just using the microphone built into my laptop, and that's because of this new video format that I'm kind of playing around with here. Something that I've been really actually wanting to do for quite a while, and that is just to record myself coding. There's no, predetermined script or thought process to what I'm doing. Like when I make a tutorial video, those are very scripted, and I've tried out what I'm going to do ahead of time to make sure that what I'm doing will work. And with the exception of a typo here and there, for the most part, those videos do the things that I do in them just kind of work. But in this video, in this series of videos, I guess, that won't be the case. In fact, I will probably get a lot of errors. I will probably have to look a lot of things up, and you guys are going to see me do all of that. You're going to see how, just while my way is not the way to go and do things, you'll just get to see my way, which works for me. And if you watch these videos and say, "Oh, Garrett, try this," it might work better for you, then you should absolutely do that, because you'll be helping me out, right? And maybe in turn, something that I do might help you out, right? So that's definitely pretty cool, and I think that'll be really, really great. The other thing is, for the purpose of, or for this video at least, please excuse my voice. I have a cold. So if you weren't already able to tell that by me coughing earlier, and I'm not totally sure if I sound completely normal, I might sound a little nasal or whatnot, just know that. So that's kind of why I sound a little weird right now. The next thing that we're going to kind of have to deal with here, and I don't really know if there's a solution for this per se. If you happen to know of one, absolutely, please let me know about it down in the comments. But that is this screen situation. So I have an external monitor, which is to the left of my computer. Also, I would record my face too with the camera, but I've actually just discovered that the camera on my computer no longer works apparently, so that's nice. But like I was saying, so I have two monitors, one to the left of me and then my laptop screen, and ScreenFlow apparently does not provide the option to record two monitors at the same time, which I feel like I knew. I just kind of was hopeful that maybe they would provide that option, but they don't. So that means that I'm going to be kind of dragging over what I'm making pretty often. So I will probably code it out. I will go over and save it and then refresh it, which will be on my other external monitor. And for the most part, I'll show you everything that happens. This will absolutely slow me down, but I think perhaps it can be worth it. But nevertheless, I will do my best to try and make sure that I show you guys everything that's going on. If I get an error, if I have to look something up, if it works and it looks good, if it works and it looks bad, I will do my best to show you no matter what happens. But since this is sort of a weird setup, and at least for this video and maybe the next couple videos that I do like this, I'm definitely not going to be used to this process or this format yet. So just know that it won't be perfect in terms of you guys being able to see everything. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's just jump into it, and I'm going to show you guys what I have been making for the past few days. All right. So, if you watched my not most recent episode or video, which by the way, I will at some point be continuing the Python series. I just haven't finished editing those videos. I also haven't finished recording them, but the ones that I have recorded, I haven't finished editing, so there's that. But the one before that was a video of me, like a sped up time lapse type thing of me designing a social network in Sketch, which I have right here. Actually, this is what I designed in that video, and I've actually been doing my best. to go off of this in terms of designing it. So I built one other project since then. I can't show it to you because soon thereafter I finished it, I broke it. So it exists, it just doesn't work properly right now. So I'll have to figure that one out and then show it to you. But after that, I started working on a social network, which was what I designed here. And while it's certainly not done, it's also definitely made some great progress with it. I do apologize that I didn't actually show you the entire thing, but I kind of figured, better late than never. And so here it is. Don't mind these ugly background colors. That is strictly so that I can just kind of see the spacing of things. That's kind of how I like to look at the spacing of stuff, by just, giving things a background color. You can see the footer is a little messed up, but let me just give you a tour real quick. We can actually log out. So this is the login page. Also, I'm going to get rid of this footer, so just ignore that. Actually, I can do it right now really quickly. I think things will look a lot better. And just as I suspected, they do. So this also isn't centered top to bottom. Don't worry, we can handle that. So this is the social network that I made. It's called Evverest, and at some point it will be live for all of you guys to join, and we will 100% be using it. I will be promoting it, and it will basically, it will essentially be a social network for web designers and web developers. So you have currently in the marketplace, you have Stack Overflow, and that is more of just a forum for developers, whether they be front end or back end, doesn't matter, but developers as a whole, to ask questions about code. You're not really asking questions about design. You're not showing your work off. You're strictly asking questions about problems you have when coding. Okay, the next thing you have, and these are two things which are kind of similar to each other, although one probably works a lot better and is more popular, is Dribble and Behance. Both of them, probably Dribble more so, are extremely artsy. Behance, I feel like, is more designed as like having, I don't know about having your own website, but I don't know. I think they're very similar, if not the same. I don't really use them that much, so I could be somewhat wrong here, but regardless, they are for the design community to basically show and tell, not necessarily show and ask for help, and not necessarily show and collaborate. They're more so just for, hey, here's my finished product, like it or don't like it, right? And then the other thing is GitHub, and that is version control and to show off kind of your code and other people can collaborate with you. But they're really two opposite ends of the spectrum, and this kind of, I think, falls in the middle, or I would like it to. So this will be a social network for designers and developers to come together, share what they're doing, not necessarily ask, I don't want to say that. I was going to say not necessarily ask for help, although you can absolutely post a question in this and get help with it. But it's more so to show what you're working on and get feedback, as well as to connect with other people and collaborate with the other web designers and web developers around you or around the world, or whatever. So this is more of a community, whereas those are more of show and tell and ask questions. This is more of a community to actually connect developers and designers. So that said, I spent a lot of time on explaining that, so I hope that definitely is clear by now. But that said, we have two different things we can do. This also seems to be an issue, so we're definitely going to fix that. This is the sign up page. Now, if you've noticed, these are the two pages before, so they do look a little bit different. All right, and I did mention somewhere in that video that they would look different, and in fact, they do. Honestly, I think I kind of like the way this looks better, but it's all right either way. So let's log in. I'll give you guys a little tour, and then we're going to get into coding. So this is the home page, obviously, since, well, not obviously. This is the home page. Also, one thing I think is cool is that if you try to go to the home page, you have to sign in, and I'll show you guys how I'm doing that. Maybe, I don't know about this video, but maybe next video. Okay, so this is the home page, and this is going to be the feed, and I still have these weird backgrounds on, but just bear with me here. So this is the feed. You can add a new post. I haven't styled this yet, so none of this is going to look like this. And by the way, I did code all of this myself. I wrote all of this code. Well, it is using Django, so there is obviously stuff that I didn't do, but for in general, I did all of it. So this will be, we'll have code the no, we'll have video post. I can't post a video in here, but at least not yet. But we'll just call it this. What do you guys think of this site so far? Please let me know in the comments, which don't exist yet, or just send me a personal message. Also, personal messaging does not work yet, so don't think that's a thing. But the post that we just submitted is right here, and it says it's by me, and it says this is when it was posted, and this is the actual text. Okay, so, and then this is just a widgetized sidebar. So in here we'd have things like the social media links. We could have a Google AdSense, advertisement. I'm thinking of moving this over to here for now. Not totally sure about that one, but I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. So that's that. Next is all members, and ooh, something's not working there. So these will be, so right now there's 4 users. And these will be all of them. They will come up in like a tiled like grid type thing. And then also only this one should have my image right there. So clearly there's an issue with that. And then this is the profile. So we can see this also does not come up in the right order. So I have to change that. But we can see that here we have the image, the profile image, my name. Actually, this is my username, I want to say. We have the score. I'll go into that in a little bit, but that might not be an initial launch type thing because I don't actually know how I would implement that. But basically, Stack Overflow has this pretty cool feature, and I think Forest had it too, which is like a reputation type thing. So the more you post, the more you're interacting with the community, the higher your reputation goes. And I think I want to implement something similar. I probably wouldn't call it a reputation. I would call it like a rank or something like that. But so yeah, so that'll go there. I have no idea how I would implement that, but regardless, it'll happen at some point or another. This is a follow button. We can't follow people yet, but in time, I hope to implement that feature. And then these are just the other fields. There are more actually. And I can show you them here in the model. So I have the user. This is actually to make the user. Then we have the first name, we have the join date, we have their profile picture, where they are in the world, title, what kind of user they are. Their options are a developer, a designer, or both. What their website is, their about them, Twitter account, Dribble, and GitHub. And then this is just to save it. So what's going on is that because I don't have all of those fields filled out, for example, my Twitter, I don't have a GitHub, I don't have a Dribble, so those don't show up because they're not there. I do think I have a website. Pretty sure. No, I don't have a website. Let me just actually add a website. And if we go here to edit profile, I should be able to, not all of this works by the way, so if I clear the profile picture, it does clear it, but if I upload a new one here, it doesn't actually assign it. It doesn't upload it for whatever reason. But let's see if I can do this. We'll change this and we'll make that say Evverest.com. Hopefully this saves. Wonderful. So it did. So it says Evverest.com. Cool. So one thing I would like to do is make this a link. So I'll have to do that inside of the profile thing. But for right now, I want to get back to actually styling this. So we're going to go back into the CSS where I was exactly before I started to record this video. So first thing we're going to do is take off this background right here. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do, I apologize, is I'm going to take this and put it back on my secondary monitor just so I can see things a little bit more clearly. And I'm going to go into the sidebar. We're going to remove this background color. Excuse me. I'm coughing a lot, so, you know, don't forget about that. We're also going to remove this aqua background color. And then we're going to refresh this. And so this is what this kind of actually looks like right now, right? So we got that. Now let's go over to Sketch. Let's come down to the home page. That is this right here. Let's take a look at what this should actually look like. And we will make it look like that. The only difference is that we aren't going to have this add post form available right there. Instead, it is going to be a button. Thinking the button should probably be just right here, or maybe widget number 1 should be the button, and widget number 1 doesn't have to be, you know, massive. It doesn't have to be 250 by 250 pixels, you know. Let's try doing this bit right here, this main content area. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back over here. Let's add, you know what I've noticed actually since just talking in this video is that I'm talking as if I'm making a tutorial here, but I'm not. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. You know, it's kind of weird. Like, I'm so used to making tutorials, and albeit I haven't really made as many as I should, but like still, I'm very used to doing that. And that's the way I'm talking. But in reality, I should just be casually talking. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't know what I'm doing right now. But I'm talking as if I have a plan. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's give this a background of white. Alright, and then I'm also going to give it a padding. I'm not going to show it to you guys yet. I'm going to give it a padding of 25 pixels, which is actually this. I want to say it's the same. I want more padding though. More padding never hurt anybody. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so that's fine, but this needs to come back down to 60, I think. That's not good enough. This should get back up to 65. Yeah, alright, so check this out now. So already, it's kind of looking like it was before. And actually, just to show that there are widgets and we can make it look just like this with these little, you know, boxes over here, we can give somewhere the widgets background color just for the purpose of developing this. And we'll do CC. What's that? Whoa, I do not like that these are same. I want that to be 200. Okay. So you can see, definitely looks a lot better. This isn't at the top right there, but I think that's something with the padding. But yeah, it definitely looks a lot better than it did before. And yeah. So the other thing we want to do is there is a main. Is there content in my base.html? I think what we should do is just give this and then say class content. It's not going to change anything, so I'm not going to show it to you guys. At least not right now. It's not going to change anything. I'm also gonna have to maybe I'll make a video of me just like cleaning this thing up because I absolutely have code here that I'm like no longer using. So at some point I'm gonna have to go through this and just like clean everything up, and I think that'll just, you know, it's not gonna make it faster per se because this is on my local machine, which is why you guys won't be able to use it, at least just yet. But I think when we get it to for you guys to be able to use. It'll make a big difference. Let's see. So margin bottom. Let me make it 500 pixels. Alright, so I think maybe 100 is the golden number then. Okay. So that didn't really change anything. It just kind of added a slight, margin on the bottom. Nothing really that fun though. I think what we want to do is we want to add this button class to, where is it? Let me think, to right here. Because as you see right now, it's just like a link, but I think we want it to be more of a button, not that kind of a button. We want it to be more of a button. So I don't like this border radius thing here either. I also want to say that text decoration should be nothing. Should be none. Alright. So there's that. And now if we highlight over it, and if we go somewhere, it takes us somewhere fun. Okay. I also want this to be over here, so let's give it a float right. I guess I kind of have to add the float right class. I had this before, and I decided I didn't want to use it, and I took it away. But I think I need to bring it back now, so we're going to have just float right. And that'll be a class whenever I want something to float right. It'll float right, but not be, disturbing to the rest of the content. And the only thing that did, just so you can see here, is it brought this over there. Now this I would like to be down. I don't really want that to, I think I want to display it as a block. Because then I don't think, I think it'll take away, no, oh yeah, this. I feel like I'm like almost making my own framework. Like maybe that should be my project, and then I'll like kind of adapt it to this, Nope, that's the wrong thing. Alright, well that made no difference, so we can just kind of get rid of that. Sometimes you do things and it doesn't actually change anything. It's all part of learning. Okay, so this here has the post thing, and I want to give it some, some distance from the top. Let's just post. But I guess I can do it on this one, yeah. Messages, nav bar, footer, profile. I feel like I don't need that. I don't remember what that was, honestly. That's not that good. Posts. No. We'll call it feed. And we're going to say post. And this is going to have margin. Top of 25. Let's try that. 25 pixels is not as much as I thought it would be. Let's not do that. Actually, what I think the problem is? I think what I want to do is just have this be like so. So we'll call this, we'll say div class posts. Down here, we're going to end that div. We're also going to call this a single post. Single post. we'll say dot post, and this will be margin top 50, and these will be 25. Clearly I need more here. That didn't work. Oh, because this is posts. And so if we come back here, now that will work. There we go. Although I feel like maybe the 75 was nice. 75 is too much. Let's do 65. I think 65 is going to be nice. And then I'm going to show you guys what I'm kind of going for too. One sec. Maybe 70. Okay, but I think 50 here is kind of nice too, actually. Alright, let me just show you guys what I'm doing real quick before we go on. This is what I got. Before, this thing was kind of up here too much. It kind of overlapped with this, but on this side, on the left side. So what I did was, that's why I added this post div inside here. And actually, let's clean up the indentation here. Alright, so that's a little bit nicer. So I added this posts thing around the actual for loop, because what that's doing is it's going to basically put all of the posts in one block, not just one of them, which is what this post here is. So that's why I changed that to single post, because it's just getting repeated every time that this is true. And then the reason I was kind of messing around with this number here, this number here, is because I was trying to get the spacing down here between this blue highlighted line and the actual button somewhat equal to this spacing right here. And I think that 70 is the number. Maybe it's a little bit off, but you know, it looks pretty good. Okay. So the next thing we want to do now is we're going to take a look at this. So what we have here is we have the user's profile picture, which is this little circle, then their first name, and then we have the post date, and then the content. And then we have some likes over here. However, you know, we don't actually, I haven't built in the liking functionality, nor have I built in the comment functionality yet. So we won't actually be able to do that. You know, it's not that I don't like coding things. I do. I really enjoy what I'm learning, and I like solving those problems and trying to think things out. But, you know, I think I want to see things get made, and I want to see what they look like, you know? So I definitely like that idea of going back and forth between, you know, the code, building some functionality, and then going and making it look nice and styling it and doing the front end design work of it, right? And then going back and doing the functionality again. And perhaps this isn't the best way to do it, and perhaps in the future I will not do it this way anymore and rather do it, you know, all at once, do the functionality. But for now, I kind of, you know, I like this. And also the comments functionality is actually kind of there. It's just not linked up yet. So that's, you know, it's there, kind of. Okay, so let's add into here you know what's interesting is that when I designed this, I didn't put in the title of the post. That is interesting. Let's put first off, I want to change this to a different class that I actually have up here under messages, and that's this. And this will make it look nicer because I don't know, the accent color I think is just too much. Nothing was really changed there. I just changed the color of it, so I'm not going to bring that over. I think it just doesn't really matter that much. Here, actually, I think post title should be the first thing that comes up. Honestly, I don't really know. Here, this is what I changed it to, so you can see that color was changed. But I don't really know if we need the picture there of the user. I feel like that's kind of pointless. We can add that in the future, but I feel like for now it doesn't really matter that much. And it's like a pretty easy thing to add in the future. Maybe if, I'll probably go through this and then I'll be done. I'll finish it. It'll be great. And then I'll come up with some more features that I'd like to add, and then I'll go and code those out. I'll do my best to record all those things. But so I think for now we don't have to add that, but I don't know if I'd call it a version 2 of the site, but I like to make things. I like to plan them out. I like to make them, and then I like to go back over them and kind of just refine them over and over and over again. That's kind of my style. So I don't really need to get it perfect on that first time. I like to just kind of make it. I think done is better than perfect, and that's actually a philosophy that companies like Facebook have, which is done is better than perfect. You don't have to spend 2 years making something like Apple does, and to release it and be really slow about it. You can release it and then refine it. And I kind of like that philosophy. So let's take these things and let's bring these two things to the side. And yeah, let's bring those two things to the side. Let's also take away all of those margins and whatnot that we've got going on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to say post title. We're going to come down here to where my posts are too. So we're going to say post title. This might not work, but we shall see. No, not that. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay, cool. I actually don't think they're in my blocks as it is. So that is interesting. Let me just think about this for a sec. Okay. So what I need to do is I don't want there to be a margin bottom. Why is there so much? I feel like there should not be that much of a margin below this stuff, but there definitely seems to be a margin. So I think perhaps the issue is that this is an H2, I think. Maybe H2 is what's doing that. So let's try H2. So margin 0 pixels. And then right below this, there's also a margin on this for some reason. I don't know why though. I definitely don't have margin on the hint, do I? Where messages? Here. No, here. I don't have any margins there either. So I think P. I think these are P's. Yeah. Let's say margin 0. This just heads up. This might mess up some stuff other places. In fact, it actually looked like it fixed one thing and then messed up something else. So, all right, really quick. What I did was I went and said, okay, instead of the classes and talking to these specific ones right here, I'm actually going to move this over. What I did was I made it a general statement for the H2 in the paragraph to say, okay, no margin, because they had a margin before. I'm assuming this is going to mess some things up, but I think it's important because now we can actually specify for specific elements what we want the margin to be, instead of just having this automatic 19 pixel margin for H2s and 16 pixel margin for H3. So as you can see, this widget issue where there's no longer a margin between them, that's fine, we can add it. I think that's way better. This also is not removed from the top, which I didn't know why it was being done that way, but I think that's better that way anyway. This still looks even. That's good, I think. Yeah, it looks pretty even. And now these things are just way more spaced together. So we can actually now specifically say that we want them to be spaced together and not spaced together. Also, one thing I'm curious about, and it looks as if this was perhaps... So I was a little curious if on the login page and on the sign up page, how that had affected us. And it looks like it did a little bit, but honestly that's totally fine, because then we can just kind of come in here and specify, what we want done. For example, this seems to no longer have any margin down there. I imagine that this also has no more margin. It does not. That's correct. No worries. I think that's better anyway, and we can come in here and just specify things. But let's log in again, just so we can go back to what we were doing. I just wanted to show you guys that. Let's give this some margin. Let's, edit this stuff, and we'll kind of go from there. So in the design that we have, this stuff is the user's first name, which we have their username here. Let's change that to first name. Post author. No, wait, hold on. So the author is their username, not their... That's not what I want. This. So the author is equal to their username, not to their first name. So I guess we're going to use usernames on the site and not first names. I was thinking about using first names, but it's all right. We've got the username kind of going, so we'll just go with that. All right, so no big deal. One thing that I do want to do is, if we look at the design here, we can actually zoom in a little bit too. So the user is this stuff is like meta information stuff is kind of next to the user profile, but we're not going to put the user profile pic there. So I kind of feel like, ooh, you know what? I know what we're going to do. Let's do this. Let's put this stuff below that. We can copy and delete it. There we go. That looks better. And what we're going to do is message hint, but also it's going to be post meta. So it'll be post meta information as well. We'll call this post body. This post title thing. Okay, so I think we have everything taken care of. So we need to bring in post body into our CSS. Also, these two things shouldn't be here. We want them to be at the very top, like here, because they're not specific to the feed. They're user or site-wide rather, so we don't want them to be in the feed section of our CSS. The other thing we want is we want this post meta tag. So we can start playing around with that. So let's do this. Let's say the post title has a margin bottom of just do 15 pixels. And then we'll give actually both of these, we'll give the same thing to that. And then for post meta, I want them to be like next to each other, I think. Actually, I want there to be more of a difference there. So post meta. I want them to be next to each other, so let me just think. Okay, so I want to have display inline. Perfect. Perfect. So this is what we have now. This is what our paragraphs are going to look like. One thing we want to do now is we want to give them a margin right of 15 pixels. Let's try that. We can do actually 20 maybe. Okay. So I think for now, I think that's pretty good right now. And then you can hit and go here, new post. It doesn't do anything yet. Not sure that I like this button here. I feel like this is a lot of wasted space right here, especially when we already have this margin right there. Not sure how I feel about that one. And I wasn't actually able to get the form to show up there. Not really sure what's going on there. That might be some sort of a Django dilemma, or clearly maybe I'm just not doing something correctly, but who knows. But regardless, there's that. Now let's take a look at this new post thing, because let's see what's going on there. So let's move this back over here. And this is going to be the inside of templates. You can actually close this. Inside templates. By the way, if you know Django pretty well, you'll know that this is not how you're supposed to do templates. This just kind of works for me, and it does work. The reason you're not supposed to do it is because it's not as like modular as they wanted things to be. The idea behind modularism, one of the two, maybe a third that I'm not thinking of. But the idea behind the modular design is that if you want to take a certain app in here and just bring it into a new project, you could do that, and you wouldn't have to go find any of their files. So you're supposed to have a templates folder inside each of your apps. So like my user apps here, my feed apps here. This is not my app, but it is an app, and that actually has its own template thing in it. One day, maybe when I'm cleaning things up, I'll go and fix that, although it will probably mess the whole project up. But regardless, it works, and I'm the only one that's going to be working on this, so I feel like it's not the end of the world. I feel like it's way more important that it work than it is that every single little detail about it be done, with best practice. That might not be true, but, it works, so I'm not going to complain. Okay, so this, and what I want to do is I want to go check out this thing and see how I did the login thing, right? Because that's really gonna, determine how we do it, because I want to do it the same way. So, so let's do that. Whoops, no, let's do that. And then this is going to replace that. Just kidding. This text in here is going to replace that. And this is going to be deleted. And then for this form thing, we just want to get this going, and that'll pretty much be it, I think. Let's take a look. Perfect. Very close, very close. So this is what we've got now. Okay, so you can see that because I already had the login and sign up pages, styled and whatnot, it brought its style over to here. The only thing we want to do now is we want to, in our forms in the CSS, somewhere in here, I have an input type. I don't know where it is exactly. forms input. That's the input that I want. So what we need to do is we need to say, I think it's this. I think this is how you do it. Type equals, I don't know if this is in quotes or not, but I'm going to put it in quotes. Text area. Let's see if that changes anything. It didn't, so clearly that's not right. CSS by type. So it looks like this should work. Oops. Clearly it's not. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Oh, you know what? You know it's possible because those actually aren't inputs. Those are, yeah, that worked. All right, so we want this to be, how about like 200? Yeah, looks better. And then we also, so what happened was, by the way, I'm going to show you when it's done actually. So I was trying to use input and then use the type selector from CSS to make the text areas bigger. The reason that doesn't work is because inside here, which you can't see, but inside here, when you're doing an input for a form, text areas are not an input type. They're their own elements. So you'd have to use a text area selector and not try to do it by type. So yeah. The other thing that I'm going to do before I show this to you guys is I'd also like to get this form button here and just give this a class and then assign that. And it doesn't. It should look good, but it doesn't. That is because this. So what I need to do is I need to say type equals text. There we go. Alright, so this was covering all inputs. I didn't want that to because technically in this form that I have here, this is an input, so we didn't want to do that. I could use a button and that would have resolved that issue, but it's okay. Alright, so now this is the new add post page. And we can, so it looks a lot better obviously. We go from here, we go to here, we have the title. I'm not going to show it to you. It does the same thing as it did before. This will, does that resize it? Yeah, it'll resize it bigger than that, but it won't go any smaller, which is good. So yeah. So, you know what? Just out of curiosity, I'm wondering if I can make it so you can't resize that. I'm really curious. Can we say max width 400? Let's say 450 px. Oh wow, we can. That is great. Okay, so what we can do here is we can make this so that it can't. See, remember how before it was getting really big? Now you can't. So I think what I'm going to do is make it so the max width can also be only 400 pixels. That way, you can't mess up the styling of this. Not that it would matter too much as long as you're getting your post in. So you can't mess up the styling. You can, though, make it go down. Yeah, so you can do that. Alright, great. That's amazing. Love the way that's looking. Let's see what else we want to do today. Remember when I said that editing the margins of things would mess stuff up? So this is what the profile now looks like. So this is pretty messed up, as you can hopefully tell. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe cut it off here. And I think what we'll do in the next video, which I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to record another video of me doing the next stuff. You know, it really just depends on how quiet it is here. Because I do have roommates and whatnot, so it really just depends on if they're here or not. That's kind of why my upload schedule has been not only so weird for the past while I'll have, that's why I kind of will have like one video here, one video there, but over the last 4 years being in college, just, you know, if I get time alone, I can make the video, but if not, which doesn't happen very often, then it becomes difficult. And it's not that I'm bad at planning things out in advance. You know, it's just a lot of work to do. If I'm only able to get, you know, 1 or 2 weekends during the course of an entire year to be able to record something, it's really tough to record, you know, 30 videos in one weekend. You know, it's just not really plausible. So that's why kind of 1 video, 2 videos, 3 videos will get posted, and then I won't really have that much for some time, and it just makes things difficult. Anyway, so not totally sure what the next time that I will be able to record is, although if I can record it when I go to do more stuff with this next time I do it, which will probably be, you know, tomorrow or something, then I absolutely will. But if not, I will do my best to show you guys what the updated product looks like, you know, as I kind of go on with it. And yeah, so until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. You know, I would have liked this to have been a little bit longer, but I guess it'll be an hour. It's a good video. So if you stuck around to the end, thank you. You're a true subscriber and a true viewer. If not, you know, you aren't hearing this, but maybe consider sticking around to the end next time. And I think that's it. All right. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. I hope you got something out of it, or let me know in the comments. And I apologize that I had a cold. Like and subscribe to the channel. Like the page on Facebook, because I'm going to start using it. I say that all the time, but I will. Yeah. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.